right, guys, trying something different today, streaming through this platform on my phone, which I've never done before. So it's kind of fun. Today, I want to talk to you real briefly about when it's time to pivot. And that's a word that's been used a lot over the last 9, 10 months, learning when it's time to pivot to something new. I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about, and I thought to myself, this is the perfect subject because one of the things that the pandemic has forced so many of us to do, especially those of us in the live events business, has forced us to look at what we do and figure out how to do it differently, figure out how to be relevant, how to work in a time when people aren't doing live events. So basically in my business, the way that this went down is live events stopped happening, and I had to figure out, and so many other of my colleagues had to figure out, what are we going to do in order to make a business? And what that looked like for me is doing virtual shows. And at first I wasn't willing to do it. At first I didn't think that it was going to work. And then I had some friends point out to me that this was a real thing and people were really doing it and it was successful. Something else in my business, I didn't want to speak about having Tourette syndrome. I was more than happy to be solely a magician and never tell my story. And then some friends opened up my eyes, opened up my mind, and said, hey, you absolutely need to be telling the story. And so that's one of the reasons I pivoted into motivational speaking, so that not just doing magic, but also sharing my story. So my question is, are you running up against things that are like locking you down? Like, are you running up against obstacles right now that are shutting down the things that you want to do? Because that's one of the reasons, I think to me, that's one of the ways that I can see the writing on the wall. It's time to make a shift when what I'm doing really doesn't work anymore. No matter how much effort I put in, no matter how hard I try, no matter how much money I pour into it, when what I'm doing doesn't work anymore, it may be time to make a shift. So with this pandemic, and so much has happened through the pandemic, what I'm asking you is what you're doing working? And if it's not, it might be time to open your mind up to making a shift and to pivoting into something new. I know a lot of people who are doing that right now, and it's very powerful because it brings a great deal of creativity. It opens up your mind to new ideas and to new opportunities, things that you haven't considered before. So I leave that with you today. If you're running up against a wall, if no matter how hard you push, that thing will not budge, consider making a pivot. Maybe it's a major shift in your business or your life. Maybe it's just a small shift and you're just making a small adjustment so that you can open up a new door. But think about pivoting in order to create new opportunity. All right, guys, it's been my pleasure. Thanks so much. Talk to you next.